One of the tests of a new work when you're starting a mission work is indeed to see whether or not they're headed in the right direction and growing like you want to see them do. And one of those areas that I'm concerned about testing is their passion for reaching out with the gospel. Now, here at Francistown, our mission church that we're working with, we've been encouraging towards outreach, and of course they've talked about it. They've done a great deal of it. But we recently had an interesting test put before them, and I want to say that God's blessed in a great way. Let me tell you how all this came about. With Samuel, my son, going back to America, he had been traveling to Palape, taking one and sometimes two of our men down there to do the preaching each weekend. But with his loss, we no longer have a way of getting down and back again. And so one of our men who'd been doing much of the teaching and preaching while Bile, a young man who has no close family. He has basically the church is his close family now, has a real burden to reach these people down there. We have two groups in Palape. We have a gospel group of people who need Christ, and we have another group of folks who are meeting in another location on Sunday mornings, which is a growth group. It's 3 people who have just recently trusted Christ as their Savior. So Wabile said, I'm willing to move. I don't know how I'm going to take care of myself down there. I'm willing to work and do whatever I can to try to find some work, but I need a little help getting set up. He was willing to go. He had no idea what would happen. Well, this last week I sat down with our men and we discussed what would Wabile need in order to get started. And so the men began to give, and almost 400 pula came in, I think 350, which basically translates to about $50 US. And this was used to buy a bed for him and a kettle to cook with, a cooking pad that heats up, an electric cooking pad that heats your food, and a few dishes and a blanket and a few other things like that he was going to need. So all of that was gotten together. On Friday, he moved down there, and we still needed to raise the money to pay for his rent. His rent is $350, about $50 a month. And so I laid that out on Sunday before our folks, and you should have heard them as our people here in Francistown began to exhort one another about the need of giving. And so by the end of the service, we had 147 pula that had been given, and we still needed another 200. And so after the service was over, one of the men walked up to me, handed me 100 pula. And let me tell you, he didn't have that much. He really doesn't have the money to be giving, but he gave it. What an exciting thing. And then about 5 minutes after that, another man walked up with another 100 pula, and he paid that. And so by the time we got finished, we had 347 pula, 3 pula short of being able to pay that bill. What an exciting day that was, and I was just thrilled to see our folks get behind this and exhort one another about praying for Wabile and going down to help him from time to time, and we need to continue being able to give. And all of this done without American money, without a bunch of folks from outside telling them they can't do it. They did it on their own as they trusted God and saw the need and shouldered the burden. This is what missions is all about, a reproducing attitude and spirit among the people. I'm excited to report all of this. Then I called Wabile and I told him what had happened. He was thrilled to death, and he reported to me that in the morning service, which normally we would have about 3 people there, he had 5 people for the morning service. He was so excited and excited to hear what God had done. So you pray for Wabile, pray for the folks here in Francistown, for the folks out at Makobo, and just pray that God will continue to reach out through the people as they shoulder the responsibility of doing the work of missions. God bless you.